Hello guys, it's Gary back with another video. Now today we're going to be talking about, is the Yu-Gi-Oh anime progressing way too fast? And I have a special guest, so please introduce yourself, man.
Yo, it's Dimzy Domain, and I think the question is, you can't really always talk about the anime without including the card, which is the main focus of the game, but I can't wait to discuss this with you once again. And yeah, firstly, before you guys listen to the video, comment down below, do you think it's progressing too fast, yes or no? Simple as that. And afterwards you could edit your comment or add another comment to elaborate on your points after hearing maybe our point.
I'm gonna give a little basic rundown of all the animes. First of all, Duel Monsters. You got Yu-Gi in the 1990s. That's when the storyline takes place, and it's sort of like a little generic story plot. Like there's not that much advancements. We go to GX 10 years after the ending of the Duel Monsters anime. Not that much of a difference. Then after that, bam, 5Ds. We have dueling motorcycles, which isn't that much of an advancement, but if you look at the surroundings of New Domino City and how much the card game has advanced, it's kind of way too fast in my opinion. And then after that we have Zexal. Now you go on this since you're more knowledgeable.
Zexal. What can you say about Zexal? We had, the whole dual school, and Synchro was one thing, but then we had Xyz monsters, and then of course with current one such as Arc V's, and try not to spoil it in the comment section please, but Arc V with the pendulum summoning, and it's really nice how they're trying to tie in fusion synchros and Xyz monsters alongside the pendulum summoning. So now from a point of view of someone who proper grew up on TV with the original anime from as a kid, as well as collecting the cards. I do collect a card, and I do have a Yu-Gi-Oh opening coming soon, so watch out for that.
Link down below,
or when it does come out eventually. But here's the thing with the anime Yu-Gi-Oh, when you went to GX there was a sense of what's going on here, but because they kept on talking about the cliche dynamic of fusion summoning, and you're like, crap, okay, every single episode there's a fusion, but then you see that became the series for fusion. Here's the main issue, and it took me a long time because I was ignorant, and as many of you original fans, you guys were ignorant too. If you weren't, wow, well done. I did not want to watch 5Ds because I did not want to see dueling on motorcycles, and that's my own stupidity, but until I saw it, it took me so long. I was so reluctant to watch it, but when they went on to motorcycles I was like, what's going on? And now the question of, was this progression too fast? No, it actually wasn't. We had, I don't know, you could maybe refresh me on the amount of years, but we had original thing from normal summoning to fusion summoning and effect ritual summoning as well, from the original Duel Monsters and GX. We had all of that. It was time for a change, and the reason for a change was the card game also needed a fresh lick of paint, a new mechanic to revitalize the game and make it harder. And as much as I hated synchros in the beginning, by the end of 5Ds I absolutely fell in love with synchros. What are your opinions of when they moved on from synchros to Xyz?
That's my problem, bro. GX to 5Ds, I'm perfectly fine with that, dude. We got two series that are basically identical in terms of timeline placement and basically dueling as a whole. And then we move on to 5Ds. That's the new motto, dude. The new timeline placement, the whole scenery and stuff like that. But then once we get to Zexal and the whole new summoning, I really don't care about the whole new summoning. That's fine, alright? Of course they need to make profit, but the time placement as a whole. You put a picture of 5Ds, the timeline, the characters up against Zexal, it looks like a huge difference in terms of placement, scenery, and everything. I just think they're moving way too fast. Let's say between 5Ds and Zexal, they put another show in there. Maybe they add a little bit more, add additional stuff to the duel running, maybe add like planes or something like that. Something new, something fresh as well. Not going this far into the story where they have so many dimensions, monsters that can talk, in the sense of literally the monsters are dueling the people. I don't know, I just think that was moving way too fast. The story time, the placement especially, like that's my biggest gripe about this, is that they're moving way too fast. If they were to space it out, like let's say this, 2 series in the Duel Monsters era, they did that. 2 series in the 5Ds era, and then 2 series in the Zexal era. That's what I would have liked. Them going from 5Ds and then to Zexal is just way too fast. It felt way too rushed in the sense of they're kind of ruining it because they're running out of ideas. Do you want to expound more on that?
No, I disagree. I disagree purely because at the same time, the card game is the reason which dictates the game, and they wanted to do a new mechanic. First things first, in terms of darkness and the actual scenery from 5D to Zexal, it took its time, but it did become dark with the Baryons. I hate the protagonists. I absolutely despise despise Yuma Tsukumo as a protagonist. He is the most, this chubby tot, I don't know, is absolutely useless. But I think the transition was necessary, as we were seeing a far more competitive nature in the card scene, in the trading card scene, you know, the dueling scene. And especially from 5D, we saw that the complexity and the tension from the duels was getting far more skillful, and I really liked it. I agree in the fact that it was somewhat rushed. They did go head first. Personally, what I would have liked is if they were to utilize synchros for one more season, long it out a little bit. But to be honest, as a person who was growing up and was getting a bit much more older, I was looking at, if they were to carry on doing the 5D thing, it may become a little bit boring. So the XCs was a welcome, it was a absolute welcome need of breath of fresh air. My problem is Arc V. Whatever people say about how good it is storyline wise, that's not the point. My focus is on the card mechanic that's been introduced. So when they introduced pendulum summonings, I was like, no. What they needed to do is incorporate XCs, synchros and fusions, because the good thing about 5Ds is that although you had synchros, when you see suddenly said fusion, you're like, whoa, what's going on? And Zexal just did not utilize synchros at all. It was non-existent. So like, if we were to see a series between Arc V, which didn't introduce a new mechanic such as pendulum, but utilize all of them, although Arc V is utilizing all the mechanics, but then he also has pendulums, it's the ones where it's going too fast, but at the same time it's dragging the past along, so it's trying to compensate. However, I would have preferred no pendulums and utilize all the mechanics of fusion, ritual, synchro, XC summoning, so those 4 mechanics. But now we have 5 with pendulum. So when we go to Arc V, yes, I agree, they went too fast, and I'm sure you're going to echo the fact. So I'm just going to pose a question right now to you, mainly the next series, the next saga, if it incorporates a completely new mechanic from pendulums, is that a mistake? Is that them going too far? Is that them going too fast? And should they really do another season of pendulums, synchros, rituals and fusions? And is there another one I'm missing? But yeah, should they work with the mechanics they got and expand on that, make another story with a new protagonist, some new random new mechanical Dimzy something, I don't know, man.
Now, personally, what I believe is that I agree with you on the sense of, yeah, they should have ritual, fusion, normal summoning, XYZ, synchron, pendulum summoning, all condensed into one series, rather than just creating something new, because the card game, it's already messed up with this whole pendulum summoning. Like, it's
overpowered.
You can't, you summon 5 monsters in one turn, and then if you mop them, they go back into the fucking extra deck. Like, how broken is that?
It's broken, but there's ways to go about it, because the older cards can help, such as, the
Raigeki really helps.
Raigeki, but at the same time, then you got these new cards such as Twin Twister. The thing is, they're always compensating these overpoweredness with the ban list and new cards. However, the point is, if they were to do a completely new dynamic, it's competitive as it is, and from a personal point of view, where I tend to always go with anti-meta, I do not like using whatever's popular. I didn't use Shadows, I didn't use Clephos. When I use my Banished deck, yeah, it works, it doesn't work. I use my Fire King deck, it works, it doesn't work. It's a hit or miss. What I need them to do is, I need them to stick with what they have for at least one more season, with a new storyline, as in a new protagonist. It's a video for another day, but if they were to go to a new dynamic, a new mechanic of summoning, it will progress too fast, and it's kind of alarming from the Yu-Gi-Oh standpoint. It makes them look, as you said before, they're running out of ideas.
They really are, dude. Arc V is bringing back old characters. Now, in terms of rating wise, of course, gonna go up, man. You get to see Astra Phoenix back. You get to see Alexis Rhodes. You get to see Crow and Jack. All these popular characters. But the thing is, you know what that seems from, like, just a viewer standpoint? Seems like they're running out of ideas. Like, what are they gonna do next for the next series? Like, are they gonna bring back all these other characters?
Think of it like this. In GX, we had Yami. We also had Pegasus showing.
You gotta understand that GX is a sequel series.
Yeah, I know.
That's literally the main intent.
But my point is, getting old characters has always, it's nothing new. Okay, let's talk about 5Ds. They had, this little gag about, oh, that's Jesse Wheeler, Joey Wheeler's cousin. Bonds Beyond Time was set during the 5Ds era, so it was always a cash grab. They showed Yusei, Jaden, as well as Yami, all mingling as they fought Paradox. So at the same time, you could think, wait, 5Ds was the worst culprit. They had a complete movie, which integrated that main character. Yeah, as in they integrate the main character with the other characters. So if anything, that's the biggest nostalgia grab. Is it going too fast? Yes. Arc V onwards? Yes. the anime is going too fast, but if people are enjoying it and you do need to freshen it up, so I completely understand it. I am looking forward to see what the comment section is going to say, if it's going too fast or not.
Now, my final point before this end this video off is that they're running out of ideas, in the sense that if you look at all the series and all the ideas and everything that they implement inside the stories, it's literally rinse and repeat from each series.
But isn't that the same thing with any, like, not franchise, but, you know, long running series, where how long has it been? It's been 15 odd years, hasn't it?
1999. That was on the
Yeah, so
season 0 came out.
Yes, 17 odd years. So to be honest, it's not going with the Pokemon route. They're not sticking to the same protagonist, and they're freshening up in that sense. But at the same time, no, they are. They're freshening up completely with new mechanics, new characters, new stories every single installment.
But look, this is why I say Pokemon's doing a genius job, alright? Ash in the whole like losing, etc., and the new what's called region that they go to, that's way too long. They prolong that for such a long time. But the idea of them sort of keeping Ash as the main protagonist, going through that, the same concept, if they did that for like 3 to 4 seasons, 3 to 4 years, and then they sort of progress it on to a new region with a little bit of an advancement, and from now they got to like imagine Pokemon like Duel Monsters, right? They did that for like 6 years, and then 7 years, 8 years later they go on to like this 5Ds, and then 3 to 4 years later they go into this Zexal type field, this Zexal type time placement. That's what I would have preferred. But are you talking about
the same protagonist, as in Yugi being the...
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like a different protagonist. My main gripe is the whole time placement and the whole scenery and the whole advancements are just way too fast, dude. In 17 years, they go from a boy in a city to this dude that literally, to this little character named Yuma that has all these weird monsters and these whole dimensions and these XYZ, and this person's alter ego named Astral that's helping him out throughout the duel.
Then to Yuya as well as performer.
Action duel, and then he has like 4 other versions of him. That's way too fast. That's progressing way too fast. If they were to time it out, space it throughout the years, man, the ideas would have been more better, and they would have generated way more money. But that's all, guys.
I guess my final point is just remember this: at the end of the day, it's a anime which is centered. It's a shonen anime, pretty much centered to young boys, and people are gonna grow up. So they know that, and that's why if you see, and this is one thing which I really just do not like about the newer ones, especially with Zexal and Arc V, they're very, very, very colorful, and the protagonists are just getting younger. Yuma's 13, Yuya's 14, and that's why 5Ds was so damn good. He was 17 and became 18 or something. Yeah,
somewhere around there.
So it's one of them ones where it's going too fast, but at the same time I understand why it's going too fast, because we also grow up as well. So
yeah, that's true. New audience, new generation. It's probably your inner nostalgia. That's the only thing, probably. We don't want change.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
All right, but thank you very much for watching, and thank you for coming by, Dimzy.